Gucci, once the emblem of unapologetic luxury and a must-have for the elite, is now in the midst of one of the greatest falls from grace in high fashion history.
It's looking at the trend at Gucci, as you said, that's the all-important story when looking at Kering.
And certainly when you look at the performance in terms of sales, Gucci has struggled.
The luxury group reporting an 11% decline in revenue for the first half of the year. It also issued a weak forecast for the second half. You can see that stock right now down by more than 7%.
Just a few years ago, Gucci was the crown jewel in the luxury empire of Kering. Today, it's battling to stay relevant, with outlet stores in the suburbs of Paris flooded with stacks of discounted pumps, clutches, and flashy jackets that feel more at home on the discount rack than the runway. What happened? How did a brand once at the peak of luxury descend into a discounted dilemma? Let's dive into the downfall of Gucci, from its peak to its struggle for survival, and why even billionaire François-Henri Pinault's efforts might not be enough to save it.
Gucci is a rare animal. It must be protected.
Let's rewind a bit. It wasn't so long ago when Gucci dominated the luxury scene. Remember the Alessandro Michel era? The guy turned the brand upside down in the best way possible, blending bohemian chic with flamboyant aesthetics. Under Michel, with the backing of Gucci's then CEO Marco Bizzarri, Gucci sales skyrocketed between 2015 and 2019. The fashion world was on fire and Gucci was leading the charge. The brand's collaborations with Adidas, The North Face, and others created buzz and secured its place as a trendsetter. It was like everything Gucci touched turned to gold, limited edition sneakers, psychedelic print suits, and handbags that became instant collectibles. Gucci wasn't just selling products, it was selling a lifestyle, one that people couldn't resist. But when you play the game of trends, it's a tricky balance. What happens when the trend isn't you anymore? As with all empires, Gucci's began to crack. After the high-flying days of Michel's reign, the brand started to slip. By the end of 2022, the brand was already losing steam.
Since 2022, the performance at Gucci and therefore Kering has really suffered. Sales have missed a number of times and the stock price has really tumbled.
Michel's bold maximalist approach had started to feel repetitive, and sales were faltering. Kering decided it was time for a change, pushing Michel out and appointing Sabato di Sarno as the new creative director. But was it too little, too late? The initial collections under Di Sarno haven't set the world on fire. Instead of the bold, flamboyant designs that characterized Michel's era, Di Sarno has toned it down, leaning into Gucci's heritage, hoping to reignite its age-old luxury roots. But here's the kicker. When you go classic, you're competing against the giants who do it best: Hermès, Louis Vuitton, Chanel. It's a risky play, especially when your competition has been nailing that strategy for decades. So, why is Gucci suddenly showing up in discount outlets? The answer lies in their chaotic brand strategy. Gucci tried to ride the trend wave for years, pushing out product after product to stay relevant. This approach worked for a while, but when trends shifted and the loud, logo-centric aesthetic started to lose its appeal, Gucci was left with excess inventory. The solution? Discount it and push it out. And if you think seeing Gucci in a suburban outlet near Disneyland Paris is shocking, wait until you hear what's next. Gucci sales in China, a once thriving market for the brand, dropped nearly 20% in the first quarter of 2024 alone. The reason? Chinese consumers who were once obsessed with flashy luxury are moving toward a more subtle, understated aesthetic, something Gucci hasn't caught up to. It's not just China though. Aspirational buyers worldwide who were once Gucci's bread and butter have pulled back their spending amid inflationary pressures. With fewer people splurging on high-end items, Gucci's fast fashion approach to luxury has left it struggling to keep up. Now, let's talk about Kering's leadership. François-Henri Pinault, the billionaire behind Kering and its brands, has been in the hot seat for nearly 2 decades. Some insiders and analysts are beginning to question whether he's the right person to lead Gucci through this storm. It's not that FHP, as he's known, hasn't had success. After all, he's overseen Gucci's highs, but his laid-back management style may not be what's needed right now. While his rival, Bernard Arnault of LVMH, is hands-on, personally visiting stores to check on how brands are performing, Pinault takes a more laissez-faire approach. And here's where it gets juicy. There are whispers that Kering insiders want someone new at the helm, someone like Francesca Bellantini, the highly regarded co-deputy CEO of Kering, to take over. Could we see a leadership shakeup soon? Stick around, because if this happens, it could be the start of a massive turnaround or a complete disaster. Either way, it'll be fun to watch. Gucci's current struggle can be traced back to its brand identity. For years, the brand thrived on being the fashion-forward rebel of the luxury world. But in chasing trends, they've lost their footing. The heritage of Gucci, its roots in fine craftsmanship and understated elegance, has been overshadowed by attempts to keep up with fast fashion. Competitors like Hermès have stuck to their guns, offering timeless classics and engineering scarcities to keep their products desirable. Meanwhile, Gucci's approach of flooding the market with product variations has made it seem less exclusive. While an Hermès Birkin bag has a wait list that stretches for months, Gucci's bags are available at outlets, marked down, and easy to snag. Not exactly the image of exclusivity they were going for. Want to know how far Gucci has fallen? Let's look at the numbers. The List Index, which ranks brands based on search data, social media mentions, and engagement, had Gucci at the top just a few years ago. But in the third quarter of 2023, Gucci dropped to number 12. It's now trailing behind smaller brands like Prada and Miu Miu. That's a huge shift for a brand that once defined the luxury market. Gucci's decline in popularity isn't just about its creative struggles. It's a symptom of a much deeper issue, a lack of focus. The brand's attempts to pivot and rebrand have only led to confusion among consumers. One day it's all about psychedelic prints and maximalist statements. The next, it's heritage and tradition. Without a clear vision, Gucci's becoming a jack-of-all-trades, master of none. Kering knows it needs to take action. François-Henri Pinault has pledged to elevate the brand and reduce its outlet sales, aiming to bring back the exclusivity that once defined Gucci. But can Kering afford to wait? With competitors like LVMH and Hermès pulling ahead, it's a race against time. The group is banking on new talent, both on the creative and executive sides, to turn things around. For one, Kering is hoping that the Valentino stake they purchased will give them a high-end backup plan if Gucci's overhaul doesn't pan out. But there's skepticism around this move. Some analysts feel that instead of acquiring more brands, Kering should focus on fixing Gucci, its biggest moneymaker. If Gucci falters, no amount of diversification will be enough to stabilize Kering's profits. So, what's next for Gucci? Can the brand regain its former glory? Or are we watching the beginning of the end for this fashion powerhouse? Sabato Di Sarno's approach could go either way. Either his classic collections will resonate with consumers and bring back the high-end clientele Gucci needs, or they'll get lost in the crowd, unable to compete with the timeless luxury offered by brands like Chanel and Hermès. Kering's leadership shakeup may also be key. If Bellantini or another strong executive takes over and brings a fresh perspective, there's hope for a revival. But if Kering continues to operate without a clear strategy, it's likely Gucci's slide will continue. And who knows, we might just be seeing the next big brand to hit rock bottom. Gucci's fall serves as a wake-up call for the entire luxury industry. When a brand becomes too reliant on trends and loses sight of its core values, even the biggest names can end up on the discount rack. And there you have it, Gucci's journey from high fashion to bargain basement. What do you think? Is Gucci destined to bounce back? Or is it time to say goodbye to one of fashion's most iconic names? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of luxury and fashion.